It was July 4th, 2007, and I was 16 years old with nothing to do that night. My older sister Alicia, who was 9 years older than me, had plans to go to a massive party upstate. People called it the Rockaway Bomb Show, basically a chaotic gathering, a fresh shout of college adults where everyone got drunk, lit fireworks, and acted insane. When I told Alicia I had no plans, I expected her to brush me off. But to my surprise, she invited me along with her and her boyfriend, Alex. Maybe she felt bad for me, or maybe she thought dragging her shy little brother into a huge party would help me open up. I wasn't a party person. At 16, I looked closer to 13. The thought of being surrounded by hundreds of 20-somethings drinking beer made me sick with nerves. Still, somehow, she guilted me into going. We packed a bag since we'd have to stay overnight at a motel. Around 6 p.m., Alicia honked outside and I climbed in. The drive was long, nearly 4 hours, and by the time we arrived, the sun was painting the sky in fiery orange and purple streaks. We turned down a sketchy dirt road with a crooked sign that read, "Firework show this way," gives the sound of a crowd grew louder. As the tree line opened into a huge clearing, I saw the party, a portable stage, a makeshift bar with tubs of beer, dozens of tables scattered across a wide field, and people, hundreds of them, laughing, drinking, stumbling around. With red plastic cups, my stomach dropped. There was no parking lot, just cars scattered everywhere on the grass. Alicia parked, grabbed Alex's hand, and dragged me through the crowd. She handed me a beer and introduced me to some of her already drunk friends. I nervously sipped, praying no one would ask my age. After a while, Alicia and Alex drifted off, leaving me standing alone in a sea of strangers. That's when I felt a firm hand grip my shoulder. I turned. It wasn't Alex. It wasn't Alicia. It was some old guy, mid-40s, maybe 50s. Balding head, thick glasses, pale skin. He looked completely out of place, like a creepy priest who wandered into a frat party. Without asking, he plucked the beer out of my hand. "How old are you?" he asked in a flat tone. My heart sank. I stammered something about my sister giving it to me. He didn't buy it, just set the beer down and leaned closer. "What's your name?" Jake," I lied. "Who were you here with?" "My sister," I said quickly. He studied me for an uncomfortably long time, before muttering something under his breath and walking off. I felt sick, alone, and without a phone back then. I had no way to find Alicia or Alex in the massive crowd. I wandered off, away from the music and chatter, until I found myself in the woods on the edge of the field. I sat on a log, silently cursing myself for coming. That's when the fireworks started. Booms echoed across the night sky as bursts of red, blue, and gold lit up the field. For a moment, I forgot my loneliness. I stared up, mesmerized, until a rough cloth wrapped around my nose and mouth. I couldn't breathe. Someone was behind me, holding me. I thrashed, clawed, tried to scream, but my voice was muffled. My head spun as I grew lightheaded. Desperately, I grabbed for anything, my hand closing around a heavy rock on the ground. With all my strength, I swung it backward and smashed it into the person's face. They let out a grunt and released me. I stumbled away, gasping for air, but not before catching a glimpse of them in the fireworks glow. It was him, the balding man with glasses. I ran, sprinting back toward the field until I crashed into a group of guys near the bar. Between wheezes, I told them what happened. Holy S, asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. one of them muttered. "We're reporting this." By the time Alicia and Alex stumbled back to the car, drunk beyond belief, I said nothing. I even drove us to the motel that night. I never told my family, not once, out of embarrassment, out of fear. But even now, all these years later, every 4th of July, I remember that man's face. Story 2, The Basement Intruder, 2015. My name's Ivan, and this happened on the 4th of July, 2015. I was 15 years old, living in a quiet suburban neighborhood. Nothing ever happened there. My parents were out that night, Dad covering a late shift, Mum at a friend's party. I was home alone, sitting at my computer, headset on, playing League of Legends with friends. It was around 9 or 10 p.m. when I heard a strange sound, like a window shutting. At first I ignored it, cranked up the volume, told myself it was just our broken dishwasher making noise again. But then it came back, louder, longer. I muted my mic and went quiet. The sound wasn't coming from the kitchen or windows. It was coming from somewhere I never dared go. The basement, our basement, was off limits. Dirty, cold. My parents told me never to mess with it. The door was warped, always giving off eerie drafts whenever it opened. I crept toward it and pressed my ear against the wood. The noise continued, scraping, shuffling, like someone moving boxes. Then it stopped. Relief washed over me. I almost laughed out loud, ready to go back upstairs. The noise came back, 10 times louder. I froze. Every muscle in my body screamed to run. My brain started flashing images of my life, like I was seconds away from dying. I bolted upstairs, locked myself in my bedroom, and dialed my mum. She told me to call the police immediately. As I was whispering to the 911 operator, I heard it. The basement door creaking open. Someone was inside my house. I sat in silence, clutching the phone, while heavy footsteps moved through the kitchen. Then the living room. I typed frantically to my online friends, "There's an intruder in my house." Before I could see their replies, the footsteps started up the stairs, thinking fast. I opened my window and jumped 2 stories down, onto the grass. The pain in my ankle told me it was broken, but adrenaline kept me crawling across the yard. I looked back just once, and I saw him, a man's face in my bedroom window, watching me. His mouth twisted into a crooked grin, wiry brown hair hanging over dark, empty eyes. Moments later, flashing red and blue lights filled the street. The police arrived just in time. They caught him, dragging him out of my house in handcuffs. But as they walked him past me, he turned, his face inches from mine, and he smiled an evil, hateful smile I'll never forget. Story 3. The Garage Stranger, 2021. By the time this story happened, I was 21. It was July 4th, 2021, just 2 days after my birthday. My girlfriend, Sophia, came over with a couple 6-packs and some fireworks to celebrate. My parents were at a neighbor's party, leaving the house to us. We sat in the backyard, drinking, laughing, and lighting small fireworks. The night felt perfect until I noticed something odd. The garage light was on. I walked across the yard and opened the door. My heart dropped. Every drawer, every shelf, every cabinet had been ransacked. I called my dad immediately. "Someone broke in," I said. "Are you serious? What did they take?" he asked. "I don't know yet." He rushed home while I told Sophia. She was horrified. We sat on the deck, shaken. until I decided to launch the 2 big missile fireworks she'd brought. The first exploded brilliantly in the night sky, but just as I lit the second, we heard it, a branch snapping in the woods. We froze, staring into the darkness. When the firework launched, the blast illuminated the trees, and for a split second, we saw him, a figure, standing perfectly still. Watching us, we both screamed. My dad came running, but by the time he got there, the figure was gone. Later that night, around 2 a.m., I peeked out my window before bed. The garage light was on again. Me and my dad went to check. This time the garage was destroyed, tools stolen, boxes overturned. We turned on the old security camera to check the footage, but instead of seeing anything useful, the camera was completely blocked. Something was stuck over it. We ran back out and found a sticky note slapped over the lens. On it, in jagged handwriting, were the words, "Happy Independence Day, F*U. ***, we never caught him."